How's it going? Brad with Currency Consulting. Wanted to jump on here and share a few tips related to receivables, payables, and treasury management. So, if you're a small business owner and you handle all this by yourself, these are some things that should help you out. If you manage a team or have team members under you that handle these areas for you, share this information with them. It should help them out. These are a few things that have worked for me over the years that has elevated our position in receivables, helped lower expenses when it comes to the payable side, or on the treasury management side, being able to develop better relationships with our banking partners, open up additional lines of credit, um, and just be able to expand our business beyond what we thought was capable of. So let's look at receivables first. So a few things that you want to do. So you'll see here, do and don't. Um, for receivables, contact your customers all the time. Don't hound them necessarily, but if I have open receivables, I'm going to follow up probably 2 times or 3 times before the invoice is actually due, just to make sure they have everything they need. Now, let me expand on that a little bit. I could have high risk or low risk customers. If they're a high risk, I'm going to stay on top of that because I want to make sure there's no issues or there's no surprises whenever the invoice is due. If they're low risk, probably will make sure they just have their statement and then do a follow up a few days before it's due to make sure they don't need anything or that nothing has changed. So that's what I mean by that, whatever, a follow up often. Now, if you're managing a large portfolio, so I've worked and managed 200 million plus, 250 million plus, and then up to a few thousand customers. So when you're dealing with that volume and just bulk, you need to be on top of things every day because you're going to have to be able to hit all of them throughout the month. And as they have issues, you got to be able to address those issues. So automate what you can. That's a huge thing when it comes to receivables. Automate statements, automate emails. That way, whenever you get feedback or information back, those are what you're having to action on. You're not having to pull the data all together to get it out to them initially. Meetings. Don't be afraid to set up a call with your customer. They're not surprised, if you want to chat with them about why things aren't coming in the door on time. Ask them about that. You agreed to specific terms and conditions. If you agreed to 30 days and they're taking 50 days to pay, I would be diving into that a little bit to find out why they are pushing you to almost twice the terms. Maybe they have something switched in their AP system and they need to fix that. Maybe they're having cash flow issues. There's all kinds of reasons, but set up a call, talk to them, and walk through that with them. And a couple of things you don't want to do: ghost customers or ignore calls. I have a thing that I try to do with my team and just clients in general and past positions. If I get a request from a customer, I want that out of my queue as quickly as possible. I don't want to sit there and hold that email for a day, 3 days, a week, or just forget about it, not respond. Get back to your customers. When you show your customer that you're willing to, at the drop of a dime, like help them out, that's going to help your relationship out long term. And that's, you want to set certain boundaries with that. Now, if someone writes me at 10 p.m., 11 p.m. at night and wants a statement, I'm not going to get up and send them a statement at 11:30 at night. I'll probably save that one for the next day. So that's what I mean there. But during a work day, I don't see any reason we can't really get back to our customers as quickly as possible. Develop those relationships. Um, Another thing you don't want to do is only reach out to them when something's past due. I stepped into a business years ago and asked about their process. And the first thing they told me was, well, we don't reach out or ask the customer anything unless the invoice is already past due. No, you are already behind the curve at this point, and you're costing your company money because you're chasing it at that point, and then you're carrying it on your books, so you're financing that debt. We don't want to do that. So from the payable side, negotiating favorable terms, ask. You're never going to know if you don't ask. So I always say, if someone's telling me standard terms are 10 days, net 15 days, I'm going to throw out and say, well, my standard's 45. So can you meet me somewhere in there at 45? Can you meet me at 30, or even extend it further? Ask them. I've worked at a company where our standard payment terms to vendors was 90 days. Was every vendor on 90 days? No, but that was our standard starting point of discussion, and that's where we worked from there. Some of it went down to 30 days. Some of it was 45, 60. It all varied. But you want to hold on to that cash as long as you can. You don't want to be, you don't want that cash going out the door as fast as possible. You want to hold on to what money you have. We all know this. Same thing on the payable side. Don't ignore inquiries. Make sure you don't bypass approvals. Make sure that you are getting the right coding, the level of approval that's needed based on the amount from the right department head or whoever it may be. Make sure you get those things prior to you sending payment out the door, ACH, wire, check, whatever it may be. You don't want to do that and then run into a situation where you weren't supposed to pay something because your company wasn't aligned with the price or the service provided, whatever it may be. And then on the Treasury side of things, so policies, procedures, that's huge. That's across the board for anything. I think everybody should have policies or procedures for anything they do, especially in accounting and finance. Cash flow effectively. I don't know if you work on a daily cash type file. You check this daily or weekly, or if it's monthly. If you develop a cash flow forecast, I would make sure you have something like this in place for your business. Even if you're a small business and you don't have a ton of activity, you should still be looking at it and know where things are at basically at any time. Don't be the person that takes bank statements or generic information to a tax person at the end of the year and says, how did I do? We don't want to be in that position. You want to know where things are at so you have a good handle on your business at any time, and it's going to help you out with banking relationships as well. Because if you go to a bank and you're trying to get some sort of line of credit, they're going to want to see your financials. They're going to want to see history. And if you really don't have any of that or can't provide it, you're not giving them a warm and fuzzy feeling. A couple of things you don't want to do. Don't take unnecessary risks. Right now, we look at the market and rates. We're really high, so you want to be careful about what you're doing. Spend wisely, and control that as much as you can. Another thing is sharing confidential information. Right now, it's towards the end of the year, so you will see a lot more fraudulent emails and spam stuff coming in where you might be asked to change banking information. Verify that. Always verbally verify that with your vendor, whoever it may be. Don't just take an email for granted and change it because it's coming from someone you think you know at the company. It's not always the case. This time of year, that stuff really ramps up because they know people are out of the office. They're just trying to get things done. All right, let's change it and move on. Boom. And then before you know it, you're sending wires to a company that's not the real company, and you're out tens of thousands of dollars potentially. Okay. That's enough for this one. Hopefully these tips helped, and look for me in the future, and we'll send some more stuff out coming up. Visit guernseyconsulting.com. I have a mailing newsletter that I send out one time weekly on Sundays. Covers various things like this right here: receivables, payables, treasury, cash management, team management, all kinds of different things. We don't spam you, and if you were already following, you would have known this past week for Small Business Saturday, we offered some steep discounts on services that would run through the 2024 calendar year. Just saying, get subscribed on there. It's free. You're going to get a free collections guide whenever you do that, and you're going to get some good information that helps you and your team out going forward. Thanks.